Shifting focus now to the Horn of Africa, where Ethiopia and Somalia continue to remain locked in a conflict. In the latest, their neighbour, Djibouti, has now stepped in to ease the tensions. Djibouti has come up with a proposal to solve the dispute between Somalia and Ethiopia. Both the neighbours are at odds over a port deal Ethiopia signed with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland. The deal provides landlocked Ethiopia access to Somaliland's port and 20 kilometers of its shoreline to build a naval base. In return, Ethiopia agreed to recognize Somaliland, which has been seeking independence from Somalia. The move triggered an angry response from Mogadishu, which called the deal an attack on its sovereignty. Somalia's ally, Turkey, has been mediating to solve the conflict, but so far there has been no agreement. Now, the tiny Horn of African nation Djibouti has stepped in. It has offered Ethiopia access to its port instead. It is offering a port of Tajura, which is about 100 kilometers from the border with Ethiopia. Ethiopia already relies on Djibouti's main port to import most of its goods, but now Djibouti is ready to hand over a new port and a new corridor to Ethiopia. It is even ready to consider a mixed management of the port with Ethiopia. Now, Djibouti's foreign minister has said the proposal was put in front of Ethiopian leaders a month ago and that they have gotten a positive response. Ethiopia is reportedly considering the technicalities of the proposal and could make a final decision in the coming days or weeks. However, Djibouti's offer does not include the permission to build a naval base in the country. Djibouti currently hosts multiple military bases, including those of France, the United States, Italy, Japan, and China. Located at the mouth of the Red Sea, it is a strategic maritime nation providing access to West Asia and Africa and the world's busiest shipping lanes. Now, as per reports, even Somalia has expressed its willingness to accept giving commercial sea access to Ethiopia during the Turkey-mediated talks. However, it has ruled out providing any naval base. The tensions between the two neighbors further escalated last week with the arrival of Egyptian military aid in Somalia. Egypt, which is at odds with Ethiopia over a dam on the River Nile, has extended support to Somalia over its dispute with Addis Ababa. Will the latest attempt by Djibouti offer any resolve to the ongoing tensions in the Horn of Africa? Now, for more on this, we have with us Dr. Samuel Oyewole, a security expert and a research fellow at the University of Pretoria. He is joining us live from Pretoria, South Africa. Thank you for being with us, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what are the primary factors driving the current tensions between Somalia and Ethiopia? And how have these recent diplomatic and military agreements influenced these dynamics?
Okay, there are so many factors that are involved in the current tension that we are witnessing in the eastern part of Africa, especially between Ethiopia and Somalia. The agreement that was reached between Ethiopia and Somaliland on the issue of hosting a naval base as well as a port for establishing a port and naval base around in that country, in the region of Somalia. The fear and the response of the Somali government. The fear of the Somali government is that this particular agreement can later lead to recognition of this region, which has technically been a self-governing region for the past 30 years. However, if Ethiopia, this agreement can lead Ethiopia to recognize this country as an independent sovereign state, which can also encourage other African countries to also recognize this Somaliland. And these potential trajectories is a major security concern for Somalia. And that's explained the decision of the Somalia government to approach Turkey in terms of partnership in naval as well as port management. And we have seen recently how the Turkey government is intervening diplomatically to resolve this issue. However, the attempt or recent efforts were this last month in August, Somalia, the government of Somalia also signed another agreement, a military agreement with cooperation agreement with Egypt, which is a major power in the region, as well as relatively not in good time with Ethiopia over issue of the dam that is under construction in which has been a subject of debate and concern, security concern between the two countries. So this security agreement with Egypt, and which involve establishing a military base in the region. Again, before now, the government of Somalia have announced their decision to withdraw, informing Ethiopia of the need to withdraw its troops in the country. Ethiopia currently have between 5,000 to 7,000 troops in Somalia, supporting the government of Somalia in its war against Al-Shabaab and other insurgent groups around the region. And again, Ethiopia play a major role in liberating African Union initiative, peacekeeping initiative in Somalia over the years. However, this recent development with issue of Somaliland is changing the relationship between these two countries.
Yes. Yes, Doctor, and plenty of factors at play here. Now, how might Djibouti's offer to grant Ethiopia access to the port of Tajura influence the ongoing tensions between Somalia and Ethiopia?
Okay, this particular offer is likely to down tension between Ethiopia and Somalia, because it's a way of is an offer that substitutes detention with cooperation. However, the details of the offer may not be as juicy as what Ethiopia is expecting or reached with Somaliland, because Somaliland needs recognition. The region is willing to offer details, offer both port and possibly naval base, which Djibouti is taking off the negotiation table in terms of the naval base. So already Djibouti has the military presence or military bases of Chinese, the US, and French, which is already significant. So the agreement, the available information on the agreement does not show that the Djibouti agreement include naval base, of which Ethiopia, besides the fact that Ethiopia is interested in having access to the sea for economic reason, is also important for strategic and military reason. So we can't say for now how this will go down well with the government of Ethiopia, whether this will be satisfactory enough to consider the economic benefit of the port that has been offered by Djibouti, or the military interest will also be of issue of concern to them, because it's not just limited to importing consumer goods or civilian wares or products. Military assets, shipping routes, and naval operation is very critical to importing sensitive military assets into Ethiopia, as well as maintaining Ethiopia presence and protecting the ports as well. It will not be easier for Ethiopia to protect its interest in that region without having military base around that. So it's a complex situation for Ethiopia as well as the countries in the region.
And what are the potential economic and geopolitical implications of this move for the Horn of Africa region in general?
Well, there are so many things that we can identify in this area. In terms of geopolitics, the tension, proper management of the tension can actually resolve many of the geopolitical complications that can arise as a result of this issue. Because if this issue is not properly managed, we can see that more more neighboring countries are taking interest in the African domain, that is Egypt, as well as in the Arabian Peninsula. Countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, the rest of them are taking interest in this particular issue. Will not be surprised if this situation is not properly managed, that countries like Russia, China, and the US and other Western countries may also become more active in this this issue. In terms of economy, the economic implication of having a cooperative, a joint management of this port, or Ethiopia having this port, we also expand this economic benefit of this maritime domain for the region, because there's more likely to have more investment, given that Ethiopia has more stake and more financial strength in the region compared to other countries in that area. It's more likely to invest more and attract more investment to expand that kind of port and then boost trade in the region. So, but if the tension is not properly managed, geopolitical consequences of this may be more damaging than the economic benefit that can
happen. Doctor, thank you very much for being with us on First Post Africa. As always, great to speak with you.
Thank you for having me.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment. So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alyson, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
We start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.